Hi, today we're going to talk about how to solve word problems with proportions. So, a proportion is going to be the right strategy for solving a word problem if you're given some kind of rate at which something is happening. And then you're asked to find, oh, and at a different rate, how would it happen? Let me show you what I'm talking about. Um, Speed is often something we look at with proportions. Also money, pay, that kind of thing. So I'm going to look at two examples like that. So let's say that I drove 300 miles in 2 hours. That's wrong. How about in 4 hours? Does that sound better? Let's say I drove that in 4 hours. And I want to know, hey, if I'm going to keep going at the same speed, then how far can I go in 6 hours? Well, we've been given a rate. Here's the first rate we've been given. And we need to find another rate, and that's right here. So now we're going to set up a proportion. When we set up the proportion, it is important where you put things. So our proportion looks something like this. It's some kind of fraction equals a different fraction. My first fraction is going to be my first rate, or rate number one, which is the one they already gave me, 300 miles in 4 hours. And then my second fraction is going to be my second rate, some unknown miles in 6 hours. Now, notice how I set it up. Miles stayed on the top. Okay, that's very important. These units have to match up on the top. And then on the bottom, hours stayed on the bottom. Well, now I have a proportion. I can just use my fish method to solve. Multiply 6 times 30 divided by 4 will give me my answer. 6 times 30 divided by 4, it equals 45. Wow, I said 6 times 30. I apologize. It's going to be 450. 6 times 300 divided by 4. 450. There we go. That sounds better. So that means in 6 hours, if I'm going at the same speed, I can go 450 miles. Well, then they could ask us, well, and then in the total 10 hours, how far did we travel? Well, then, I mean, that's like a separate question. Then it's a total. We're just putting two things together. We'll just add 300 plus 450. That gives us 750 miles total in the 10 hours that we traveled, or whatever. Okay, so that's one example of how you solve a proportion that is given to you in a word problem. Let's go ahead and take a look at another one, maybe with money. Let's say I'm working some super fantastic job and whatever, and I've made $1,300 in 8 hours. Now, remember how I said it's some fantastic job, right? This is some fantastic job, okay? That would be so great. So I'm making chunks of money. I'm making so much money you don't even know. And I say, well, hey, I'm just curious. I need 200 bucks. So how long would it take me to make 200 bucks? Okay, in I don't know how many hours. So I now have these two rates that they've given me. This one rate is $1,500. This is my first rate in 8 hours. Now notice the top I put dollars. So I need to keep dollars on the top when I do my second rate. And I put money on the bottom, so I need to keep, I put hours on the bottom, so I need to keep my hours on the bottom. So when I do rate number 2, or my second rate, well, this is $200. So to figure out where does it go, I have to match up dollars. Oh, dollars were on the top. So 200 goes on the top because it's dollars, which means my unknown number of hours goes on the bottom. Fish method to solve, 200 times 8, 200 times 8 divided by 1,350. This tells me, oh man, can you imagine? This tells me I only have to work for 1.2 hours to earn 200 bucks. Man, you got to have some kind of great job for that, right? So again, we just set up a proportion that helped us solve. Hope that helps.